Hey there, have you been wondering what's going on with the real estate market for 2023? I've been hearing all kinds of clickbait on YouTube about how the house market is crashing, and let me tell you that the statistics say otherwise. So today I would like to go through what the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, has come up with their chief economist, Dr. Lawrence Yun. This is a presentation that he used recently to talk about 2023, and today I'm going to take you through the slides. First, let's talk about the number of homes sold in 2022. You may have heard about people talking about less homes being sold this last year than in the past. Actually, for 2022, home sales are down 16% nationwide, and that is the lowest that they have been since 2014. As a monthly trend, they have gone from January of 2022 having about 6.5 million homes nationwide that sold. And now in October, which is the most recent data for this statistic, it's down to 4.5 million homes sold nationwide. So it's quite a drop in home sales. Now, what's leading up to that? You guys can probably guess is that the Fed has been raising interest rates. So what's happening is buyers are being priced out of the market. So a lot of the buyers that maybe would have bought in 2022 are sitting on the sidelines and waiting for interest rates to come down. Now, even though the number of homes sold is coming down, the average home price is still staying pretty steady. Now, you know that there has been some significant increases in home prices over the last 2 years due to supply and demand. And what we're seeing now is a deceleration in home values, but not a decline in home values. The difference is that the pace to which home prices are increasing has slowed. So instead of having a 15% price increase year over year, we are now it might be flat for a little while, or it's up to 4% they're saying for this possible next year. So slower price increases, or even flat increase. It's just gonna stay here for a little bit, probably until interest rates come back down. So this next slide is an interesting one. It's talking about the idea of a crash. You've probably heard people saying, the sky is falling, don't buy real estate. This year's gonna be terrible. Well, it's just not true. Now, yes, interest rates are a little high, and if you can't afford it, you're gonna need to wait. But if you can afford it and you are interested in possibly moving, the opportunity is big because there are just a fewer number of transactions, so there are less competitors out there for you. So let's take a look at this home price crash slide. I love this slide because it's comparing 2008 to today and talking about the differences, because everybody's saying, oh, we're in a housing bubble, home prices are going to crash. Well, we are just not going to see that happen. And these are the reasons why. Job cuts in 2008 were 8 million people, 8 million job cuts. And currently we're not really seeing any job cuts. If anything, we're seeing job growth. And it talks about payroll jobs being up. It talks about total jobs being up by about 20 million jobs. That's great news for the economy. Back in 2008, the big part of the bubble was subprime loans. So people were getting loans that should not have gotten loans. And now we're seeing stricter than ever loans. Basically, there's no subprime loans happening right now. As far as inventory, back in 2008, we had kind of a saturated market. So we had 3.8 to 4 million homes on the market. And currently in this market, we're seeing 1 to 1.5 million, at any certain point in time. And that is a drastically different number, a drastically different outlook on what's happening right now. There just aren't the homes there. So basically, if you get into trouble with your loan and you need to sell your house, you're going to be able to sell your house because there are buyers out there. There's low inventory. The rates aren't crazy. I mean, yes, they're double what they were a year ago, but they're still affordable. So if you need to sell, you're able to sell your house. Back then in 2008, there was so much competition and there were so few buyers because everybody lost their jobs. All the houses went on the market because they couldn't afford them and people just couldn't sell their house. Mortgage delinquency now is significantly lower. It's 3.6% versus 10% of mortgages were delinquent in 2008. That's a big number. 1 in 10 homes couldn't pay their mortgage. And the homes in foreclosure alone in 2008 were 4.6. Now they're 0.6%. We're just not seeing foreclosures because, again, we have the most equity in our homes now than we have had in years because the last 2 years we had a huge run up on prices. So everybody's sitting kind of pretty with their equity. And even if you can't sell it for, maybe the highest price that you wanted, you can still sell it and get out of your house if you had to. Further good news, on this slide, it shows that we have now been in decline on our mortgage rates for 4 straight weeks, and we are hovering in the 6s. This is not totally unaffordable for everybody. However, if we do see dips into the 5%, which is forecasted for a possibility for next year, that we are going to see buyers hop back into the market, and it's going to just be a typical spring summer market with a little bit of competition and home prices being steady. This next slide talks about unemployment rates. Unemployment rates are back to normal. They were high during COVID, obviously, because people were unemployed or sitting home on purpose, and they are now all back to work, not all. Mostly back to work. We are seeing a normal rate for unemployment, which is a great sign for people to be able to afford their current mortgages, meaning we're not going to see those dips in, the increase in people that can't afford their mortgages or going into foreclosure. In this last slide, we are going to talk about the annual forecast from years previous to current future years. As you can see, in 2020 and 2021, the unit sales were up 5% and 8%, and the home prices actually went up 10%, almost 10%, 9.1, and almost 17% in 2021, which is a huge, huge increase in home price. That's why I was talking about earlier about people having equity in their home. This is why. For 2022, we estimate it's going to come in at about a total home price growth of about 9.6%, but unit sales are drastically down 16%, which I talked about earlier. So the number of units sold has decreased, but home prices have still increased. In 2023, the forecast for unit sales is going to be down 7%, so not quite as big as this last year because we do think that interest rates are going to start declining so that the unit sales will kind of come up a little bit. But the home price forecast for increase in home price is flat, 0. So that is interesting. I haven't seen that in a long time. Now, it's not negative, which is great. It means that you're not going to see home prices. There's people on the internet saying home prices are going to be down 50%. It's not true. The data shows it's not true. It can't happen with supply and demand the way it is now. 2024 forecast, we're going to say that unit number of sales are going to be up 10%. Because we're taking a step back for a couple years. So there's 2 years with negative unit sales. Like eventually people are going to need to move again. So in 2024, we think that there's going to be about 10% increase in sales and home price values up about 5%. That's kind of typical in the home price increases year over year for the past, 20 years. On average, it's been 3 to 5%. So this is a normal range. We are back to normal. We think that 2024 will be a great year. 2023 will be a decent year. So don't believe what you hear out there. If you would like any further information on your actual home value, what's going on in your neighborhood, please reach out. I am happy to do a competitive market analysis for you, which is called a CMA. And just to get an idea of what your value could be this year if you decide to sell, especially if we see those interest rates dip down into the 5s, we're going to have buyers back in the market in full swing, and I can see it tipping back into a seller's market at that point. Right now, it's kind of a buyer's market just because there aren't a whole lot of buyers out there that can afford the homes that are out there because the prices are still holding strong and demand is just down. So that is why we are into a buyer's market, and we are going to see that kind of tip back if interest rates come down. So there is your 2023 market outlook from the National Association of Realtors, who has all the data. And I am so happy I could bring it to you. My name is Laura Scheel with eXp Realty. And please like and follow and subscribe to my page for more fun real estate. Sometimes I do funny things and or just good tips on real estate in general. Thank you so much.